To some people, Cooper Flagg has had a bit of a mixed start to his career. Of course, his rookie debut was also the coming out party of Victor Wembanyama, and then in his fourth game last night, he put up just 2 points in 31 minutes against the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder. For one of the best and youngest prospects in NBA history, it was not the start that was expected. But here's the thing, Cooper Flagg, he's gonna be fine. Most likely, I think he's going to be great. Looking beyond these performances, we've already seen a lot of great things from Flagg and how he is adjusting to the NBA level. So let's break down Cooper Flagg and see why he's going to be just fine. Now, if we take that one disastrous performance against a very elite team out of his stat line, then Cooper Flagg doesn't look nearly as bad as some people may think. He's ranging around 17.6 rebounds and 3 assists on decent efficiency and defense in those games, and all of this being done in a position that he normally doesn't play. At the moment, Dallas's roster is relatively thin on guards, given the fact that Kyrie Irving is out for the majority of the season with his torn ACL, and the fact that D'Angelo Russell is an absolute terrorist. This means the majority of Flagg's minutes have been spent at the point guard position. Now, Cooper Flagg, he was a good passer in college, but he was not a good passer in running the offense. He was more of the guy to make smart passes, make good secondary passes, and avoid turnovers, and this is something that's actually translated well over into the league. Cooper Flagg is averaging just 2 turnovers over 4 games at a 21% usage rate, which is pretty impressive for a 19-year-old rookie. And his passes have been pretty good too. Whether he's operating as a primary or secondary ball handler, Cooper Flagg is demonstrating his ability to playmake through both his passes and handoffs. Multiple times we've seen him use his signature spin move into a lob pass, and multiple times it's worked out. He's done this in college, but I love how he takes out Clay's defender to give Thompson a better shot and record an assist for himself. In transition, this is a great bounce pass that sets up his teammate, and even in his Duke days, he was great at these skip passes to the next man, usually his guy in the corner. And as a passer, I really don't have any doubts or question marks on his abilities. He's 19 years old, trying to run the point guard of an NBA offense with players like Anthony Davis. Like, this isn't exactly an easy thing for even a possible generational guy like Flagg to do. Even though his assist numbers don't look great, in watching game film, his passes and his just playmaking ability as a whole isn't nearly as bad as what his stats may indicate for someone if you're judging him as a point guard. Now, one area of critique that I do have for Cooper Flagg, and this is something that I did notice with him back at Duke, but this is actually his ball handling abilities. His handle is a bit loose, he usually has the ball a little bit higher than he should, and it's not uncommon for him to straight up lose the ball, especially when he's in traffic or trying to break someone down in a one-on-one scenario. About half of his turnovers on the year so far are coming from a ball handling standpoint, not from a passing standpoint. In his NBA start, Cooper Flagg also hasn't shot the ball super well, shooting less than 40% on the season. However, like his playmaking, I don't really see this as a huge knock on him, and it's actually not something I'm really that concerned about. For a player who was stronger and more athletic than nearly everybody in college, you think that could affect the type of shots he takes, but I haven't really seen this so far. His form is clean, it's smooth, it has a high release point, he does it really consistently, and he is good in both spot up and pull up scenarios, allowing him to be a threat from both the low block and the 3-point line. Flagg does a really good job with his off-ball movement and navigation to get open shots or to try for a new one, and this is something that always keeps the defense off guard. And honestly, off-ball movement like what Cooper Flagg does is something that I find really impressive for a rookie, and that is something that can help him develop as a shooter, but it's also something that can keep him in the NBA for a long time if he isn't exactly the star player that we think he might be. He's had his opportunities, he's made some, and the shots that have gone in look really good, but obviously he's missed the majority of his shots and some shots that I would definitely expect him to make, but I'm happy that he's taking it, and I think that the makes are going to come in time. When it comes to his abilities down low, this is where I'm probably the most surprised and impressed by Cooper Flagg. Now, in college, he was an incredible finisher and he was the best athlete on the court, but I did wonder how well that was going to translate into the NBA. After all, we see these guys in college where they're the #1 guy on the court, they're the biggest guy, they're the strongest guy, they're the fastest guy, then they come into the NBA and they find out that they're just one of many. Cooper Flagg is still looking like a man amongst men. Within 3 feet of the rim, he is shooting 69%. Nice. And he also is looking like one of the most athletic people on the court. There have already been some huge and-one plays or incredibly athletic posters, the kind of plays that are in a player's career mixtape. I think he could be even better when it comes to finishing through contact. That's something I did know in college, but I think he's done a solid job at that as well. If he gets to show off his full vertical, then few players in the league are even able to stop him. Beyond his ability just to dunk over someone, he has demonstrated great footwork, he's demonstrated a great ability to touch the ball off the glass and just put it in the right way. He's already really good at getting shots up close to the rim, and I think he's only going to get better with more attempts in his career. And defensively, I've always been a huge fan of Cooper Flagg, and he really hasn't let me down so far, even though the advanced stats definitely aren't looking in his favor. Flagg definitely does better down low than he does on the perimeter. Sometimes he's not always laterally the fastest player in the world, but around the paint and the mid-range area is where his wingspan and strength give him the advantage. Still, he's matched up on the perimeter, and for the most part, he's competing well with his assignment. I've seen a few missed plays or a few times where he gets beat, but he is lucky to play with great defenders in Derek Lively and Anthony Davis, so he can rely on them if getting beat. Even with his rebounding, I actually really like Cooper Flagg, and given the fact that Flagg is somebody who has incredibly high effort, he has a great motor, I think he was going to be a good rebounder going into the league, and we saw that even on his opening night. Opening night, as we know, he wasn't doing a great job scoring, he wasn't doing a great job shooting, but he had a ton of hustle, great defense, great rebounding, even snagging a few when contested by Wembanyama. Cooper Flagg certainly hasn't had the start to an NBA career that you would expect out of a #1 overall pick. But I'm really not looking at this as a major downside by him. In the games he's played, especially against the non-elite teams, he's put up great stats and he's played good two-way ball. Cooper Flagg is still putting up some positive minutes, and he is still showing why he was drafted #1 overall and why he has the potential to be great. Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks overall certainly have a lot to work on, but I'm not worried about this team, and I'm definitely not worried about Cooper Flagg at all. He's demonstrated what it takes to be great. He's passed every single test that you could pass off the court. From being a great athlete to being a great all-around player, he does everything you would expect a player with a huge amount of potential to be. I still expect that he is going to be the best player of this draft class, and I still think he is somebody that has the highest upside of this draft class while having a pretty high floor as well. Cooper Flagg is carrying over many of his strengths from colleges, with leaving some of the weaknesses behind or making them look like they're not that bad in general. But that is it for this one. I want to hear from you guys what you think of Cooper Flagg and what you think of his start. That is it for this one. I will catch you guys all next time.